Oh, hello. Welcome once again to Speakeasy with Paul F. Tompkins. You can look. You're the only one I let look. I am Paul F. Tompkins still. My guest today was for a long time the musical director on Comedy Bang Bang on IFC. Now he's a musical director on The Late Late Show with James Corden on CBS. Please say hello to my old pal, Reggie Watts. Oh no, my pointing!
But it felt good.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. Reggie, thank you for being here. Cheers. What a pleasure to see you.
Cheers.
Oh, I haven't mixed my...
Mix yours. Mix it in there.
Oh, thank God. Here we are. We're drinking a secret elixir.
Oh my God.
Now, we're both level 43 Masons.
We are.
So this is a drink that we enjoy.
That's true.
Reggie, thank you so much for being here. You're a busy dude always. You're always going not only hither, but also yon. And now you have a gig that all takes place in one place for most of the week.
That's correct.
Now, this is very strange for you, is it not?
This is very weird.
When is the last time you had a job where you had to be the same place multiple days in a row?
I'd say for more than, aside from Comedy Bang Bang, which would be three months of the regularity and then not, I would say it would probably be a health food store that I worked at in Queen Anne in probably 1996 to 98, something like that.
That's a good chunk of time.
Yeah, that was, or maybe almost 3 years, so it might have been a little bit more than that, but yeah.
Did you ever make Employee of the Month?
I did not. It was a really tiny ma and pa, tiny. It was tiny.
I bet it was always ma or pa.
Uh-oh. No, mostly ma. Pa was okay, but mostly ma. I was very grateful of the ma situation.
Right.
Yo-yo
How are you adjusting to the late night network responsibilities? Was it an adjustment? Has it been kind of a thing to get used to?
I think the thing to get used to is the fact that television, or at least network television, is very super there are a million, everyone's got there's a tiny slice of a job for so many people. So they've got this person does this specific thing, or just does buttons, or just does zippers. I don't know, I'm exaggerating, but there's a lot of moving parts and a lot of people to get to know. I mean, there's so many people on that show. I've barely scratched the surface. So in that regard, there are a lot of tiny gears that make the machine that I notice. But when it's all orchestrated together, it does make for an efficient experience, because once I get in, it's we do this at 2, we do this at 2:30.
Right.
We we rehearse for half an hour, then we take a break, and then we film it for 30, and then you're done at 6.
Right.
Or whatever. So that took some getting used to, where we're done, and I'm we're done? Okay, I guess I actually might just hang out in my dressing room for a little while. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Sometimes it's over so quickly that I'm what just happened?
You released an album that kind of exploded into the club scene, the dance scene, and you started touring pretty early on, right?
Yeah, I mean, since I'd say my first major tour was with this composer named Wayne Horowitz, who lives in Seattle. He came from the tier of John Zorn and Bill Frisell, the Zadig label out of New York. But he was in Seattle, and he started this group, and I was part of this group. It was me, Julian Priester, Avon Kang, a bunch of Tucker Martine, a bunch of people, and we toured Europe. And that was I was oh, this is touring, this is crazy. And we were kind of doing the Miles Davis circuit, from the late 60s, all the jazzers from the late 60s cool jazz era, or just the 60s cool jazz era. Late 50s. I'm going to include that in there. Okay.
Let's really nail this down.
Okay. 1800s. All of the 1800s cool jazz era. European touring.
You played the Cotton Gin?
I played the Cotton Gin, the Formosa, but I loved it because we did this, we kind of went to all the traditional routing that jazz musicians would go through. And that was really exciting. And so really from there, and then I was in bands, and we toured nationally, we toured regionally. Then I started touring internationally, and I was basically touring nonstop for probably since '97.
And this appealed to you, right? This lifestyle appealed to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because it's a grind, but you get used to it. I do like traveling because once I'm there, I make new friends, or if I've been to a place enough times, I have friends there, and they're just geographical friends. So it's like, oh, I'm here. Oh, we're here again. Let's hang out. So that was fun. Getting to learn other cultures. That's cool. I definitely got used to it, and I would dream of staying stationary. And so in a way, when Bang Bang came along, I was like, oh, what would this be like to be filming constantly for 2 months or 1 to 3 months, and that was nice for a while, and then it was only a chunk of time, and then I would continue touring.
Right.
But I don't know. I was used to touring. It was different. Some people don't like it. I just had a high constitution. I don't really get sick, and I think that's kind of what saved me on tour, and so I got used to it.
You certainly had various influences when you were just starting out in music. As your style has evolved, have those influences evolved as well? Are you an explorer? Are you a seeker? Are you always looking for different sounds? Are you looking for different inspirations?
Yeah, I kind of am. I mean, as a child of the 80s, I mean, this is way before your time, but like, as a child of the 80s...
Go on, I'm interested. I'm interested in what's way before my time.
Yes. I mean, as a child of the 80s, and I guess the late 70s, that's kind of my core of what I thought music, what the pinnacle of what music is, at least popular music. All of the musics that we listen to, electronic music, came from that time period, and synth pop and whatever, butt rock, all that stuff. But
I'm sorry?
Butt rock?
I'm not familiar with that genre.
Well, it exercises the butt. It just like squeezes the butt, or it causes the butt to go into a squeezing motion. So. Right. Okay. No. Rock and roll, American rock and roll, like that. I grew up on the Cougar.
Johnny Cougs?
John Cougs, the Mellencamp that he no longer goes by, but Pat Benatar, things like that. So that was kind of my base, and now I think when I listen to music, it's somewhere between that time period and all the different types of musics that were available on MTV or VH1 or whatever it was back then, to the mid-90s electronic movement and hip-hop. Those are the biggest things. So for me, I'm always looking for things that remind me of the Sundays, or things that remind me of Depeche Mode, or things that remind me of Ministry, or things. So I'm always looking for that DNA in the music, but I also love ambient music. So I think that I'm seeking for I'm always listening for a vibe that is slightly reminiscent of something that I've always loved. To a certain degree.
Something that will take you back to that emotional place.
Yes,
yeah.
Right. And
no matter what it is.
Yeah, no matter what it is. It doesn't matter. It could even be a classical piece. Like, even if a classical piece has a lot of, like, an aggressive, dark energy to it, I love it because it reminds me of, like, the spirit of, like, rock or, like, punk or something.
Are we talking to Shostakovich? What are we talking here?
We're talking, actually, Shostakovich was exactly what I was thinking of.
See, I know shit.
Yeah.
Tell him, Reggie. Yeah. Tell him how smart I am.
Yeah, robot camera that's not piloted by a person at all.
So you and James Corden, for both of you, this is a new gig, right? You're both coming to these jobs, not having really done these kinds of jobs before.
No, I've never done. That was the great thing. I remember when he was talking to me. I was like, we had a meeting in Beverly Hills, some weird hotel. I was just walked in. I was like, and I brought in because I have my meals made for me. So I was so I had like a meal that was ready.
Who makes these meals?
Meryl Pritchard of Core Kitchen. She's this amazing young nutritionist who started this company to kind of make it easier for people to eat really well, to eat healthfully. And I started with Bang Bang, actually, because I remember one year, I was like, I can't, you saw me at craft services, I was just like, I can't eat another handful of M&Ms again. I can't have a bunch of animal crackers. Like, and then like get a gigantic book menu where I'm just like, ugh.
Right.
Orangutan Thai. Nope. Whatever. Like, I just don't want to.
They closed that place down, by the way. They were using real orangutan.
And the chefs were orangutans, which is
that makes it even worse.
Ethical on two levels.
Moral.
Yeah, I know.
A lot of problems. So you show up with your pre-made food.
So I show up with my pre-made food, which
to a lunch meeting.
No, this is a dinner kind of meeting.
Now that's a power play.
Yeah, in Bev Hills.
I'll bring my own dinner.
Oh yeah. Fuck that. No way. Am I gonna walk in and order the food there? This 5-star restaurant? Not good enough for me. Or I'm sorry, not good enough, not specific enough for me. There we go. No, but I walked in and I had this like vegetarian, or not vegetarian, but like turkey chili.
Not vegetarian at all.
Not vegetarian at all. No, it's turkey. It's turkey. Turkey was. But like I walk in and we sit down at the table and then a man comes up and he's like, "Hello, sir. What can I get for you?" And I was like, "Oh, I'll take a club soda, bitters and lime, just like this thing." And then James goes, "Do you know what? Would you be able to heat this meal for my friend?" "Of course, sir. Thank you." And then walks away and like 7 minutes later, in a nice bowl, like with my steaming hot turkey chili, just sets it down. And I'm just like, "Oh, thank you. Okay, well, what is it that you wish of me?" It was just like a very interesting moment. But yeah, I mean, we had this conversation about. He was like, I didn't grow up watching talk shows. I mean, they have chat shows in the UK, but he wasn't particularly like a huge fan of that, as far as he told me. And then his showrunner Ben. Not involved in that at all. Definitely TV, but not that. And so they didn't know about talk shows. I know about fake talk shows. I know I really know a lot about fake talk shows.
That makes you the default expert.
I am kind of the expert. If that's it, then I was wondering, like, is this gonna work out? But that's kind of like where it came from. And so I was kind of stoked to see, like, well, what do people that don't watch? I mean, I still don't watch talk shows. I mean, once in a while I'll see a clip. If I'm on Conan, I watch the whole thing and how it comes together, and I'll watch the whole show. But I never think to go, "Oh, you know what? I better watch a talk show." I've never thought that in my life. And I love like not knowing about that and just being like, "Here's the imitation of a band person, band music." You know, like is this right? You know. So yeah, no one knew, but it feels like a show. I mean, it feels right. I mean, all the elements are there. There are people that came from talk shows that are part of the team.
Sure.
So
somebody has to know.
Someone has to know.
At least about a structure or something.
Yeah. You know, since you are coordinating quite a few pieces of technology. Yeah. Yes. But I think because of that, it makes the show more fun and fresh to be on.
You are in Pitch Perfect too.
Yes, Pitch Perfect as well. Yes, another Pitch Perfect. Yeah, it was very strange to get that offer. But
why is it very strange?
I don't know. I mean, like, I wasn't expecting it. You know, I'm always like, I'm too weird for a movie. You know, like I always think. Sometimes I think that it's like I'm the odd guy out. I don't know if you'd want to ask
Never
me.
be in Jurassic World.
No, never be though. Yeah, there is kind of that's my initial kind of starting point. But you know, it was great. They offered it to me, which was great. I didn't have to. I hate auditioning. It's like, I hate it so much. But no offense to the rest of you guys. That camera, another robotic camera. But I got the news and I was like, well. Okay, and then I'd just seen Pitch Perfect, and I actually kind of liked it. I thought it was cool. It was smarter than I thought it was going to be. And
I'll tell you right now, that's a movie that if it's on cable,
yeah,
I turn on the TV and I'm clicking around, I will stick with it.
Yeah.
I'll watch it to completion.
Yes.
From wherever it is.
Yeah, it kind of works.
Yes.
On a bunch of different levels.
It's an insanely watchable movie.
Yeah, and there's mostly it's the casting, really great actors.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge I love Adam as well. But so I heard about that and I was like, okay, well that's kind of cool. My dream was to be in a coming of age movie, like real movie coming of age. And then the other thing that really sold me was Elizabeth Banks was directing, and I was like, I want to support female directors. So I took it for that. I mean, I'm also a fan of hers as well, but it just met all the criteria. So yeah, I went for it, and it was such a blast. It was like 4 days of filming in New Orleans, and man, it was just nothing but joking constantly.
Right.
Because it was terrible names. It was Jason. He's from Daily Show.
Jason Jones.
Jason Jones, that's it. Yeah. Because I would always
say. It's a weird last name.
Yeah, it is very weird. Well, I should have remembered Jason Jones and me. But yeah.
We should all remember that.
We should all remember that, shouldn't we? Let's do, shall we?
Joe Lo Truglio, right?
Yeah, Joe Lo Truglio. Yep. Yeah, Hodgman, Adam Devine. Is it Divine? Yeah, it's Divine. Yeah. I guess that was it, right?
Now,
And me. It was great.
Most of these people can sing.
Yes.
There's one guy I know. I wouldn't necessarily call him a singer.
Jason, I wouldn't say is too much of a singer.
Oh, then there's two.
I could be wrong. Hodgman, definitely not so much so.
That's right.
He's a gentleman, though, which that covers
Of course
everything.
he is.
That covers everything, almost.
I guess the point I'm trying to make is Pitch Perfect 3, I'm available. Singing.
Yeah, true. So there we go. Yeah, I mean, it was just blast because we were the old guys. That's what
Right.
I loved. It was like, oh, we're the old guys, and Adam got stuck with us, like as his punishment from the last movie. He's like, oh, I got to be with these nuts. So it was great. And then David Cross as the ringleader for this underground a cappella off. I mean, he never did anything the same twice. It was a delight to be in that, and then Elizabeth's just like jumping on, going like, "Hey guys, okay, so we're gonna." She was just always excited, blah, blah, and then just disappears again, and she's behind there, and action. It was great. I loved it. So I mean, I wish I could do more movies like that, but
Maybe this is the start, Reggie.
I don't know.
Maybe you mean exactly like Pitch Perfect 2?
Exactly like I want to go back in time and redo it every time, with the awareness that I'm going back in time,
Sure.
and the amount of times that I've gone back.
Speaking of technology, you like it.
It does.
I understand you have. There's an app that features some of your crazy, chaotic things. Tell me about this app, Reggie.
Yeah, this app, it's called Kesey. It was created by, the idea is owned. Okay, anyways, the guy.
Whose intellectual property?
Okay, gotcha. It's a company called Elepath, which was started by my friend Jake Lodwick, who is the founder of Vimeo, creator of Vimeo. He's since moved on from Vimeo years and years ago, and he started this new company to try to explore devices that would be great for people in the app space. And then his team came up with Kesey, which is essentially it's like a sampling app. So you have like these little colorful tiles on your screen, and when you press it, it plays a specific sample, and you can record any noise that you want into any of these little tiles, and then you can just replay them either musically or just as a joke, whatever. You can do whatever you want, and it's great. And they consulted me a little bit about like features that I would want to see and something like that. And I did their first commercial and did their new commercial that's going to come out about sharing. And then I did some sounds for it, and then I introduced them to some other musicians that also contributed to these kind of like starter. What do you call them? Boards is what they call them. And so you can download these boards that are pre-made and play with those, or you can make your own. It's a really awesome app.
What is a thing that you would like to be able to do now that you can't yet do, that the technology isn't there yet? Or do you kind of like the limitations? Do you enjoy working around any kind of limitations there might be? Do you enjoy like old tech?
Well, I mean, I like the stuff that I use. It's fairly old. I mean, the Line 6 has been around. The green pedal that I use, I've been using it since 98, I think, or 97 or something like that. And that hasn't changed. They haven't changed the design. Nothing has changed on that. It's kind of complete. It's like here's a Gibson SG. Like, well, you don't really need to do anything else to this thing. It just is what it is. So that I do enjoy, and there are limitations that make it really fun, that enable me to break some of those limitations by approaching things in different ways. And then I use this other thing, the Electro Harmonix 45,000, beautiful name, glides off the tongue.
45,000.
45,000, yeah. Supposedly the amount of seconds you can record onto it is what that means.
Well,
yes.
How many seconds are you up to?
Up to maybe 25 or something.
Oh, you got a ways to go.
Yeah, I still got it. I got lots of memory. So much memory left.
Glad.
Yeah, it's great. I do enjoy those because they're very basic machines and they function. I would say I explored software stuff for a while, like on iPads and things like that. But the problem is they're not analog. They don't have real buttons. They don't have sliders and faders and all that stuff. It's just a smooth glass screen. It's like trying to get used to that tactile feeling. It's not appealing to me. Then there are a bunch of hardware things that have come out over the years, but then the problem with those is that they're too menu deep. So you have one strip of screen, and then you have to like go into different functions that change the screen. And so you're like going menu, changing something, back out of the menu. And I just don't think that that's very creative. I know people that if they start on that and that's what they learn on, that's their instrument.
Right.
That's great.
Right.
I don't know. It hasn't really changed. The only thing you can really do with looping is increase the fidelity and maybe refine the things that already exist that work well. And that's all you can do, because there's kind of after a certain point, it's the person. It's the person creating the thing. There's nothing more that a machine can offer you that's going to really blow the socks off of someone who's not inclined to understand how music can be structured or to create things sonically or whatever.
Right. But you like to have a physical thing that you can touch.
Yes.
And then you will take care of the chaos.
I'll take care of the chaos.
Right.
I'll take care of the creativity, but as long as it does what it's supposed to do, as long as it records when it records and it starts looping when it starts looping, that's all I need.
Right.
Because
Reggie Watts, what a pleasure to chat with you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
The Late Late Show with James Corden airs nightly on CBS at 12:30 a.m. Wrap your brain around it. That does it for this round of Speakeasy. Please join me again next time when my guest will be a different person. Cliffhanger. You don't know who it's going to be.
It's going to be Cliffhanger?
Yeah, it's going to be Cliffhanger.
Oh, awesome.
Also, Sprig Spragley.
Oh,
He'll be here.
Sprig Spragley.
Yeah.
That's great. Speaking to Pete Baggins from the other day, and he was telling me.
You're in the hot seat.
Yep.
I'm going to ask you questions. And
I'm not going to answer any of these questions, by the way.
because you're afraid of the truth getting out?
Very terrified
About
of the
your
truth.
various
Well, now I
projects?
realize everything is a gotcha.